My daughter signed the adoption papers before she even cut her birthday cake. I know that because Gregory Voss slid the folder across my kitchen table at 6:14 p.m., right between the paper plates and the candles I'd bought from Dollar Tree. And there at the bottom of page 3, looped, confident, practiced, was Ava Mercer's signature. She had signed away my last name while I was outside trying to get charcoal to light. If you think I'm starting at the worst moment, I'm not. The worst moment came 3 minutes later when she looked at me, really looked at me. Not as her father, not even as a person she loved once, but as a logistical inconvenience standing between her and a better zip code, and said, "Please don't make this trashy. Daniel." Daniel, not Dad, not even the courtesy of guilt. Just Daniel, like I was the electrician who'd overstayed. I stood there holding a bottle of lighter fluid in one hand and one of those stupid plastic happy birthday banners in the other. And for a second I honestly thought I might pass out. Not cry, pass out, because the human body has limits on how much humiliation it can process before it starts shutting systems down. Before I tell you why my 24-year-old daughter showed up on my porch 6 years later in last season's designer coat with 2 maxed-out credit cards, a repossession notice, and nowhere else to sleep. You need the whole picture, not the sentimental version where hardworking dad does his best and ungrateful daughter breaks his heart. Life is uglier than that, more incremental. No one rips your heart out in one dramatic gesture. They sand it down, little by little, year after year, until one day you realize the child you would have taken a bullet for has learned to flinch when your truck pulls up in front of her school. My name is Daniel Mercer. I'm 49 now. I build custom cabinetry outside Columbus, Ohio, and if you've ever leaned your elbows on an expensive walnut kitchen island in Dublin or Upper Arlington, there's a decent chance my fingerprints are buried under the finish. I work with my hands because hands make sense. They blister, they heal, they keep moving. Feelings are less reliable. That I learned that at 24 when my wife left me for a man who had indoor parking. Melissa was not evil, at least not in the theatrical sense. Evil would have been easier. Evil announces itself. Melissa was the softer kind of damage, the kind wrapped in apologies and silk blouses. She sat on the edge of our bed while Ava was 6 months old, twisting her wedding ring, not looking at me. "I don't think I was built for struggle," she said. That sentence bothered me for years because of how honest it was. Not, "I don't love you." Not, "I met someone else." Just a plain confession that hardship to her felt like a clerical error someone richer was meant to correct. Gregory corrected it. Gregory Voss. Private equity, old Connecticut money. Smile like a campaign donor, watches that cost more than my truck. He entered Melissa's life the way mold enters drywall, quietly enough that by the time you notice, the structure is already compromised. 3 weeks later she moved into his downtown condo. 5 weeks later she missed her first custody weekend. 3 months later Ava had a silver baby bracelet engraved with her initials and a mother who sent it through a driver. That was the beginning, and I need to be very clear about something. I did not become a heroic single father because I was noble. I became one because there was nobody else in the room. People love to romanticize men raising daughters alone. They imagine touching montage music, piggyback rides, tea parties, braiding hair with YouTube tutorials. Sure, some of that happened. What they leave out is the exhaustion that turns your bones to wet cement. The panic when daycare calls and says she has a 103 fever and you're halfway through installing cabinets in a surgeon's kitchen. The nights you kneel on linoleum at 2 a.m. scrubbing vomit out of carpet thinking, "I cannot be sick too, that I literally cannot afford it." The shame of standing in Target calculating whether pull-ups can wait until Friday. The fact that loneliness becomes so normal you stop naming it. I had Ava in a second-hand stroller and a checking account that regularly dipped below $40. But she laughed like I was enough, so I kept going. That's the dangerous thing about children when they're small. They make poverty feel temporary. Ava at 4 used to sit on a paint bucket in my workshop wearing those pink noise-canceling headphones too big for her head, helping Daddy by handing me screws one at a time like surgical instruments. Ava at 6 would run to the window when my truck came home and yell, "My person's here." Not my dad. My person. I used to hear that and feel 10 feet tall. That phrase came back to haunt me later in ways I wasn't prepared for. Melissa floated in and out according to whatever version of motherhood fit between vacations. Sometimes she'd vanish for 2 months. Then she'd reappear with monogrammed dresses, expensive dolls, and guilt shiny enough to photograph. Gregory usually came with her. He never acted threatened by me. That would have required him to see me as competition. Instead, he treated me with that polished, benevolent friendliness rich men use on service workers and distant cousins. "Danny, good to see you. Danny. Always Danny." He'd hand Ava gifts that were less presents than strategic messaging. An American Girl doll with every accessory. An iPad before she could spell iPad. A beach trip to the Hamptons with photos professionally taken. Each item said the same thing without saying it. "This is what life looks like when money loves you." I tried setting limits at first. "She doesn't need this." Melissa would sigh. Gregory would smile like I was adorable. "It's just a little something, Dan." It was never a little something. It was infrastructure. He wasn't buying toys. He was buying contrast. And contrast is deadly when your kid still thinks love and lifestyle are the same language. The first visible shift happened when Ava was 11. I picked her up from Gregory's condo after one of Melissa's suddenly maternal weekends. She climbed into my truck, buckled in, looked around at the cracked dashboard and the coffee stain near the gearshift, and asked, "Why does your car always smell like work?" I laughed because I thought it was innocent. "It smells like sawdust." She wrinkled her nose. "Greg's cars smell expensive. Kids say brutal things casually. They don't know where the knife lands." I drove home in silence longer than usual. That night I vacuumed the truck. Bought one of those pine tree air fresheners. As if cedar scent could compete with imported leather. That's how it starts, by the way. Not with betrayal, with adaptation. You keep making tiny humiliating adjustments hoping to stay relevant in a competition nobody informed you were in. At 12 she wanted UGG boots every girl at school had. I worked a Sunday install to buy them. At 13 she wanted Invisalign because everyone at St. Catherine's has straight teeth. Yes, St. Catherine's. Gregory paid her transfer tuition with one phone call and a charitable donation. Melissa framed it as opening doors. I heard what it really was. He was relocating my daughter into an ecosystem where I would look increasingly like a field trip. The first week I dropped her off there. Girls stepped out of SUVs wearing blazers that cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Ava stared out the windshield and said, very softly, almost to herself, "I don't want them seeing your truck. I wish I could tell you I handled that with dignity. I didn't. That I gripped the steering wheel so hard my fingers cramped. Then maybe they should learn people have different lives." She turned to me with that teenage blend of embarrassment and cruelty that doesn't even recognize itself as cruelty. "You don't get it." "No, Ava, I get it perfectly." She rolled her eyes, opened the door before we stopped, and got out 30 feet from the entrance so no one would connect her to me. 30 feet that I measured it later in my head all day while cutting maple. 30 feet between my bumper and the curb. Might as well have been another country. Still, I kept making excuses. Teenage self-consciousness. Social pressure. Melissa's influence. Gregory's money. Any explanation that didn't require admitting the possibility that my daughter was beginning to find me socially embarrassing. Then came the choir fundraiser. This one matters, because this was the first time she didn't just feel ashamed of me. She curated me. St. Catherine's held some black-tie donor dinner where students performed 3 songs for alumni and wealthy parents. Ava had a solo that I left a cabinet install early. Drove home, showered, put on the only suit I owned, a charcoal thing from my cousin's funeral, and showed up 15 minutes before call time carrying flowers. Where you can still see the kid in flashes, but the world has already started seeing a woman. I smiled, she saw me, and instead of smiling back, she walked toward me fast, eyes wide with panic. "What are you doing here?" I laughed because I thought she was joking. "What do you mean?" "You have a solo." Her voice dropped to a hiss. "Gregory and Mom are hosting one of the donor tables." "Okay." She glanced over my shoulder, scanning who might be watching. "Can you maybe sit in the back? And don't come up to me after." I just stared at her. "Ava. It's complicated." "No. It wasn't complicated. It was simple enough to fit inside one sentence. She did not want wealthy people seeing where she came from. I looked down at the flowers in my hand. Then back at my daughter. "You don't want them knowing I'm your father." "That's not what I said." "It's exactly what you said." She inhaled sharply, jaw tight. "Please don't do this tonight." This covered a lot of territory. My breathing didn't my existence didn't my lower middle class fingerprints on her curated evening. Gregory appeared then, tuxedoed. Smooth, hand on Ava's shoulder. Everything all right? Ava answered before I could. Yeah. Daniel was just leaving. Daniel that I in front of him, like rehearsed. Gregory gave me that diplomatic smile men use before hostile takeovers. Good seeing you, Danny. I handed Ava the flowers anyway. She took them like contraband. I sat in the back. Last row. Watched my daughter sing under chandelier light while wealthy strangers applauded and Gregory Voss stood beside Melissa at table 12 looking exactly like the father in every photo. Do you know what I did after? I waited in the parking lot for 40 minutes just to tell her she sounded incredible. She came out laughing with friends. Saw my truck. Her face fell. One of the girls asked, "Who's that?" And Ava, without even pausing, said, "Oh, that's just Daniel. He does work for us." I heard every word through rolled down glass. That was the first night I went home and drank whiskey straight from the bottle in a dark kitchen while staring at a school program with my daughter's name on it. Not because she lied. Because she lied quickly, fluently, which meant she'd practiced shrinking me long before I caught her doing it. But even then, I thought there was time. That children come back. That blood remembers. That 18 years of packed lunches and fevers and piggyback rides outweigh rooftop brunches and luxury shopping. I was still stupid enough to believe history mattered. Then Gregory arrived at my house on Ava's 18th birthday with a leather folder. And my daughter had already signed page 3.